Welcome. Hey, Joey, how you doing? I'll just welcome. So we are live, and of course, this is Personal Development with a Lifestyle Plan, episode 21, Born Rich Remastered webinar, part one, week 3. I'm excited about this week, Joe. Just before I introduce you, I'll introduce myself. My name is Mick. I'm tuning in from the Republic of Ireland, and I'm super excited to be here, actually, because I'm really looking forward to this little episode. We've probably got about maybe 20 or 30 minutes that we're going to try and run through, but it's, this is where it starts getting really, really serious. And of course, do a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Like, subscribe, and share. And of course, if you're watching on the replay, put your comments or give us your feedback. We really want to know. But this is a no limits, transform your life series. Now, if you want to go back and watch it from episode 1, do, but you're joining at exactly the right time, in my opinion. And of course, this is all about looking better, feeling better, moving better, and of course, doing better. So if you want to look and feel the best you've felt in a decade, I recommend that you kick off your 30-day reset, no risk. And you can do that by downloading your Freedom, Health, and Lifestyle goal sheet. The link is in the description. And once you've got it filled out, what you need to do is either email that across to Joey. His email is written across the bottom of the screen now. And you get a free consultation with Joey, or you can email it to me. And again, a free consultation where we can figure out your next steps. What do you think, Joey? Say hello.
Hey, good day. Malole, Joey Magonga here from Sydney, Australia. I'm always grateful to be with my partner in crime, Mike McLean, all the way from the Republic of Ireland. Exciting. To be honest with you, I'm always look forward for a Sunday episode, and I couldn't believe myself when you say it's 21 episode now. So we come a long way, my friend, and we keep adding value, planting the seed. Hopefully, we'll make an impact in touching the many lives in our journey.
Absolutely. No, I'm super excited. Joe, I really want to get this one kicked off because this one, obviously, the week 1 was really just an introduction to Bob and to how he got started. He was telling the story. Week 2, then, we were hearing from John Canary, and he was telling us how this system works or really how to use the information that you're about to learn. And we're about to start learning that now. Now, the link for the workbook is in the description. So you can actually download that and you can actually go through this along with us, So I think it's going to be fun. And again, leave some comments in the comments section. We're always looking forward to hearing what you've got to say. And of course, look, Joe, are you ready?
I'm ready, mate. Thank you.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me see. Are you ready? Look, this, I love this. This is brilliant. Right. Okay. So let's get this screen share up. Let's have a look. See if I can do this. Okay. So just like before, I'm going to, if an ad pops up, most likely an ad is just going to pop straight up right away. Of course, I'm just going to mute it and then we'll just let it pass. But if one comes up, it's an opportunity for us, Joe, just to stop and have a conversation about what we've been listening to. So let me see if I can get this sorted out. So let me just qualify where we're at. So John Canary is just handing over to Bob. Bob's rejoining, and he's going to start getting through some really exciting stuff. So if you've got your pen and paper ready, got your workbook ready, let's get into it.
Thank you, John. I want to suggest now that you really put on your thinking hat. I have a paper here that was written by a gentleman who has since passed away. He was a great Canadian. His name was Dr. Lawrence Rampell. And when I first moved back to Canada from the United States about 8 years ago, Dr. Rampell was sitting right here where Mr. Kavuk, the great photographer, is sitting. And this man took more notes than anyone I had ever seen in a seminar. I honestly thought if I could have got a copy of his notes, that I would have probably had a transcript of what I was saying. Now, I made up my mind I'd get to know him after the seminar was over. I wanted to know why he wanted to have all this written. And he introduced himself as Dr. Rampell. I asked him if he was a medical doctor. He said, no. And I said, are you a dentist? He said, no. And I said, are you a chiropractor? He said, no. I said, do you want to play 20 questions? And he laughed, And he said, no, he had a doctorate's degree in thinking. Now, do you know, he had the only doctorate's degree in thinking that had ever, up till that time, come out of the University of Toronto. It took him 11 years to get it. Every time he went to go down a road, somebody put a block up in front of him and say, no one has a doctorate's degree in thinking. Now, that's rather odd, especially when you consider that thinking is the highest function of which a human being is capable. And all the great leaders, all down through history, have been in complete and unanimous agreement that you and I become what we think about. Now, play with that for a moment. It's a subject that is not taught in school. It's the highest function of which we're capable. And every great leader that has ever lived all told us that you and I become what we think about most of the time. Dr. Rampell wrote a paper, Tools for Teaching Thinking. He said, thinking is a skill which can be learned just as we learn skills such as typing and playing the piano. Now, he said, few public schools offer courses devoted expressly to teaching thinking. Rather, we are expected to learn and teach thinking as a byproduct of learning mathematics, reading, science, history, trade, and so forth. And he said, we do, in fact, learn a lot about thinking in this way. The trouble is, we learn our thinking skills in bits and pieces, and we never put it together as an overall picture. If asked to describe what all is required in order to think effectively, most people would be at a loss to give a complete account. Thus, we are unable to assess our own thinking skills or systematically teach the skill of thinking to others. Now, consider this for a moment. When you think in pictures. Check it out. I'm going to suggest that you think of the home you live in, and as you do, realize that an image of your home comes onto the screen of your mind. It's almost as if there's a screen running right through the center of our head, and the second we think of our home, the picture of the home comes onto the screen of our mind. Now I want to suggest that you think of your automobile. And the second you think of your automobile, the picture of the home is gone and the picture of the automobile is there. Think of your kitchen, your backyard. Think of where you work or go to school. And bang, 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 just like that, the picture changes. We literally think in pictures. Now I'm going to suggest that you think of your mind. Now, when most people think of their mind, they get an image of the brain. How many thought of the brain? Quite a few hands going up. And yet, the brain is not the mind any more than the fingernail is. And paradoxically, the fingernail and the brain is the mind. You see, mind is an activity and body is the manifestation of that activity. And we're going to find out as we go along through the morning and this afternoon that the body is really nothing but an instrument of the mind. Now, your brain is comprised of hundreds of thousands of cells. Into these cells, we impregnate pictures or images. And as we think, we activate that particular group of brain cells, and the picture that's in them flashes on the screen of the mind. Now, I'm going to come back to that in just a moment. Flip over onto page 5 in your exercise book. At the top of the page, it's talking about me and money. Now, when you think of yourself and you think of money, what kind of a picture do you get? The vast majority of people get a picture of poverty. And what we want to do is take and build cells of recognition in your brain for prosperity. So we're talking about me and money. That's you and your money. Now we say the program was written.
I'm going to give you my number one tip to get over a breakup, and that is going to be
it would lead you. And that's all we could do is lead you. It's like Dr. Billy B. Sharp in Chicago. He said, a person will not believe something until they discover it for themselves. So we just actually want to lead you to this new awareness. Well, we want to lead you to the many discoveries that lie within you. And we're going to do that through the repetition of prosperous ideas. What we're going to do is tell you one thing 10,000 times and 10,000 different ways. And we're going to cause pictures to fly on the screen of your mind until you get a clear picture of greatness and prosperity locked up within you, because that's what they're, regardless of whether you understand that or not at this point. Now, we're suggesting that you start to see money. Whenever you think of money, see this stuff as an obedient, diligent servant. You're the master, it's the servant. And don't ever get that equation reversed, or you're going to find yourself in very, very deep trouble. You can use this to provide service far beyond your own physical presence. If you and I had no money, we'd still be able to provide service, but the service that we provided would be confined to our physical presence at any given place or any given time. However, if we had some money, we could provide that service far beyond our own physical presence. So let's make certain that we get that programmed into those cells properly. Now you come down a little further, we're going to say here that lack and limitation can only exist when we make room for them in our mind. But prosperity consciousness knows no lack and it knows no limitation. Now, I want to suggest that you resolve to just completely take the lid off your marvelous mind. Just blow it away and let the greatness start to flow around in there. Now, flip over to the next page. When we start thinking about money and we start thinking about ourselves, as I suggested, we get images on the screen of our mind. Now, on page 6, we say throughout your entire Born Rich seminar, your attention is directed at the importance of your mind. The type of thoughts and ideas which occupy your consciousness are of paramount importance in developing prosperity in your life. Your mind is either in an orderly or a confused state. Order must prevail. John mentioned that a little earlier. Order and movement are what necessary. Well, we start with the order. So we say order must prevail in your mind if you ever hope to see it manifest in your material world. Now, you want order in your material world. That means meaningful relationships. That means prosperity and growth in our business. It could mean all kinds of things that are good, but they all have to start in here. Everything starts in our mind. Well, if we're going to have order in our mind, we must have an image of our mind, and most people don't have. So what we're going to do as we go through the seminar is build brain cells. Now, that may sound a little strange to some of you. You may be sitting there and thinking, well, this is ridiculous. How can I build brain cells sitting watching this box? Well, I can assure you that you can, and I'm going to convince you very shortly that you're able to. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use different examples as we go through this seminar, and each one of these examples are real, live examples, every one of them. This is a letter that I received on February the 18th, 1986. It came from Joanne White. She was the regional administrator to the vice president of sales for the Metropolitan Insurance Company in Kansas City. Now, Joanne was in a seminar there in January of 1986. This letter is dated February of 86. And when Joanne came to the seminar in 1986, she told me a fascinating story. Now, apparently, she had come to a seminar that I conducted in Kansas City 10 years prior to this in 1976. Now, I didn't remember Joanne, nor did I remember her son, who she was telling me the story of. But when she told me what happened, I quickly related to it because it's happened many times, and there's many situations that I do remember. Apparently, we had been doing seminars right across the country for the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, and a friend of hers in another area had been talking to her on the phone, who also worked for the same company. And this friend told her, if this seminar ever comes to Kansas City, make sure you go and take your son. Well, she took that person's advice and she came. She brought her 11-year-old son, Eric, who had been diagnosed as having learning disabilities. Now, keep your mind open here, folks, because this is real. It happened, and it can happen to anyone. Someone had made a classical error, and someone possibly in a position of authority, in fact, probably in a position of authority, And they told this lady and her husband that their 11-year-old son had learning disabilities and not to expect too much from him. So they didn't. Worse still, the little boy didn't expect much from himself. I told her to bring the little boy to the seminar, and we just built new brain cells, that child could do anything he wanted. That this idea of learning disabilities was an error that someone had made, and they shouldn't believe it any longer. And I said, you bring him, have him sit right near the front. And I said, we'll give him a little special attention, and you'll just watch the change take place. Let me read you the letter. She's, dear Bob, I wanted to take a moment to tell you how much I had gained from your seminar in Kansas City and how much I am continuing to gain from the use of your tapes. Now, at that time, all we had is audio tapes. Now, you can sit and you can watch this over and over and over again, because there's going to be parts of it that'll seem a little confusing to you first time through. But as you play it over and over and over again, the confusion will leave and order is going to come to your mind. There's many times I'll take a book and I'll read the same paragraph over and over again. This book that I mentioned earlier of Napoleon Hill's, I've been reading that for 27 years. Now, it's not such that I'm such a slow learner. It's just there's so much depth in the book. My wife's sitting back there and she said, no, it's not the depth, it's that you're a slow learner. And anyway, that's just her opinion. All right. Now, she said, I listen to the tapes each time I get in my car, and I intend to continue to do so. And of course, you've got the audio cassettes from the seminar as well, so you can just snap them into your car. Remember this, if you only drive 25,000 miles a year, you're spending 13 40-hour weeks behind the wheel of that automobile, all of which your conscious mind is free to travel around and do anything it wants to do. Your body is programmed to drive the car. Well, she's, Bob, I'm sure at times you ponder over the long range effects of these seminars. Do you merely get people excited and then once you leave town, forget it? Well, I attended your seminar when you were in Kansas City 10 years ago. I brought my 11-year-old son who was going through some trying times in school. He had been diagnosed as having learning disabilities and he was really struggling. Listen to this. He was certain he was a reject. What a terrible thought to be running through the little kid's mind. I'm a reject. Many adults running around with that thought in their mind. You could have been sitting with that.
If you want to make money online as an affiliate marketer, you may find this a little bit controversial.
Go on, Joe. Let me hear your thoughts, because I think this is deep. It's deep, isn't it? Really deep. I like that last little bit there. It just made sense. Repetition. Equals an outcome of order.
Yeah.
And of course, you become what you think about. You started off thinking in pictures. Now, do you know the funny thing is, it flashed up on the screen, me and money, when he started talking about that. I'd never noticed that before. I thought, how have I not seen that before? I've watched this so many times, I've never seen that.
Yeah, yeah.
And cells of recognition for prosperity. I suppose that's like when I think about that, you're almost trying to remember a future event. Do you know what I mean? As if it's already happened. You're trying to recall that future event, build that picture in your mind. I think he's talking about manifesting. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. No, I really like when he revealed that, when we're thinking in pictures, and every time we think about our home, is the picture of a house is so up in our mind. And then, you think about the automobile, you think about cars, the vehicles. We are 100% thinking in pictures. And, it's funny because when you talk about the mind, before I studied this material, all I was thinking when anyone talk about the mind, it's all about the brain. But then he revealed the mind is the activity, and the body is the manifest of the, or manifestation of that activities, and our mind and our brain is part of the body, because the mind is the activity. And, it's very powerful because when I capture that imagination, and he will talk more about, simple pictures of how can we understand more about our mind. It's so powerful, and I really really liked it, and I like when he said every time you think about the money, think about is a grade 7, and he's a very he's a obedient and intelligence 7. If we try to reverse that, that's when money control us. We become slave to the money. And I think you and I have get into a community that we want to change the way we think about money. We want to use money as to extend the good of who we are. If you're a good person and you have money, you will extend it, the good that you desire to do more in life because you have money. And a lot of people, I was growing up in an environment that I can hear people talk about money is a root of evil. Rich people is evil people. They're greedy. But then I study, learn, and read about biography of of rich people and successful people. They have what do you call the word come to charity all over the world, Africa, in those nations that won't be able. And and he's asked me how they can do that. Bill Gates, a lot of successful people, and they have charity all over the world because they use money as a 7. So and he's so right. Money is a obedience and intelligence 7. And if we understand that, we can use money for the goodness of our desire that we want to extend it to other people's, or to the rest of the world. So that's how I understand from so far. And I know we're just in a shallow now. We are gonna getting deeper and deeper now to it.
We sure are. We sure are, man. All right, let's have a look.
With that thought in your mind, I'm a reject. There's no such thing as rejects. God didn't make any rejects. But as I brought Eric to the seminars, he learned that you can do anything or be anything that you believe you can. He learned to set goals and to achieve the goals that he set. Listen to this for progress. I am very proud to tell you there was both an immediate and a long-range change in Eric's performance. In that same school year, his grades spiraled upwards and he became an honor student. Eric attended Bay State. He is an Eagle Scout. He was listed in Who's Who in American high schools. He was editor of his school paper. He qualified for scholarships, that's plural. He had his choice for college. And at the present time, he's a junior at the University of Missouri, and he's on the dean's list. I feel a great deal of this can be credited to the fact that this 11-year-old boy learned he could do anything he believed he could, and he became a goal setter. Joanne concluded by saying, Bob, I just wanted to share this letter with you, as I really do not know if we would be able to tell this success story if I had not brought Eric to this seminar. I'll always be grateful. I guess she will, and I guess Eric will too. And what was the big win? Was it the Who's Who in American high schools? Was it being editor of his school paper? Was it the honors that he accomplished that first year? Was it the college scholarships in college? I don't think so. I don't think any of those things were the big win. You know what the big win was? It was the one single idea that enabled him to do all these things. And one idea can cause you to make the progress this young boy made. We have a gentleman in our audience. I'm not quite sure where he is. He's a good friend of mine, Grant Sylvester. He's the president of Money Concepts for Canada. And Grant Sylvester hired us to conduct these seminars way back in the 70s for a large company that he was a senior executive in. And right across the country, they had a 53% increase in sales. Now, that's hundreds of people. That's an enormous increase. I want you to think about that for a moment. Here's an idea that gave this little boy honors in schools, gave Grant's company a 50% increase in sales. So you see, I don't really care what you do It doesn't matter what you're doing. It's you that counts. And the more you understand you, the better your results you're going to get. Now, I'm going to run through a very quick idea, and it's very simple. Don't let the simplicity of this idea deceive you. What we're going to do is run through a concept and explain just how brain cells are built. Now, I'm going to ask someone from the audience. Nino, you're a good friend. Come on up to the front here for a moment. All right, Nino.
Wonderful, Bob.
Give Nino a hand. If you're sitting in your office or sitting at home, I want you to meet one of the best managers I know.
Thank you.
And I mean that sincerely. And I'm not just saying that to flatter Nino. I'm saying that because of the results that I see as people get. Nino was kind enough to hire my son and daughter-in-law to go to work for them at the beginning of this year. And every month this year, they have earned somewhere between $20,000 and $45,000 a month. Now, you don't do that if you haven't got a real good manager drawing the best out of you. Management is the development of people. It's not the direction of things. So Nino's a very good friend of mine. Now, Nino, I want to ask you a couple of questions. I'm going to do something. What I'd like you to do is hold out your hand like this. All right? Now, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. Now, I would like you to look at that. I want you to see what that is. I don't want anybody to say anything. I'm going to put it in Nino's hand. You just close your eyes, Nino. I'm going to put this in your hand, and I want you to feel it. Close your hand and feel it. Now, Nino, tell me what that is.
It feels like a piece of metal.
Well, move your fingers around it and tell me what kind of a metal. What would you use that for?
I would imagine to open the door.
To open a door. What do you call a piece of metal that opens the door?
A key.
This guy's a real ham, and he put him in front of a camera, and I'm telling you, he'll take it away. You guessed it right, Nino. You win one of our cassette tapes. That is a key. All right? Now, what happened there? Let's stop and think of what happened. Nino has sensory factors. He can hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. And when your sensory factor touch comes in contact with something, a light message is sent through a nerve passageway in your body. It strikes a group of cells in your brain. Those brain cells are activated, and the picture that's in the cells flash on the screen of the mind. So although Nino was not looking at this, which is a sensory factor, and it'll work that way too, he was touching the key, and that triggered the image on the screen of his mind. Now what I'm going to do, I am going to show something to Nino, and I'm going to ask him what it is. Nino, I would like you to tell me what that is.
A pin.
A what?
Pin.
A pin. You think it is?
Yes.
You don't know what it is, do you? You're guessing now, aren't you? Now, you weren't guessing when you told me what that is.
No.
But when I asked you what this little metal object was, you're guessing. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, Nino, what you're really saying is, I had cells of recognition when I touched this, but when I look at this, I have no cells of recognition. Now, we're going to build cells of recognition in your brain. I'm going to tell you what this is, and I'm going to do something with it. And as I do that, instantly, in a millisecond, cells will be built in your brain. That, Nino, has a little plunger on it. Now, as I hit that plunger, something's going to come out of here. You see that? That is a toothpick, Nino. That's what your Aunt Marg gives you when you don't need anything, all right? Now that is a toothpick. Now, that's no big deal. And you could miss the whole message here. But you see, Nino didn't know what that is. You know what he was saying? I don't have any cells of recognition in my brain. Now, when you go home, Nino, you can tell Rose that you built some brain cells this morning. She can love more of you. All right? You take more of her home. But that's exactly what that is. All right? And we just built some brain cells.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nino. Nino Spizzeri is, without question, one of the greatest real estate sales managers I've ever met. And you know, I told Brian something, and I'm going to tell you something. Whenever you go to do something, make certain that the people you surround yourself with are very successful. Carl Menninger one point in time pointed out that environment is more important than heredity. In other words, the people you find yourself surrounded by are more important to your success, your well-being, than what's built right into your genes at birth. And I suggested by going to see Nino. I told Leslie, go see Nino, go to work for the man and listen to him and do what he tells you. And he'll draw the best out of you. And that's exactly what he's doing. Now, we're going to build some brain cells with respect to the mind. All right? And as we build these brain cells with respect to the mind, we're going to build a picture of our mind right in here. And then as we get that picture in here, we can start making headway and making some of the adjustments that John talked about in the proper use of the program.
The points we just covered were simple, but vitally important. And one of the most important points of all was the fact that you and I must have an image of our mind. Without an image, we have confusion. So that's very, very important. Now, I would like to introduce you to someone who I wrote about in Born Rich, Heinz and Donna Dawes. They came to the seminar and their circumstance was doom and gloom.
So, Joe, just before we move on with this little interview that Bob's doing, and this couple have got a really interesting story, by the way. If you've not heard it before, I definitely recommend sticking around to listen to it. Excuse me. But Bob was talking there about building brain cells, which I thought is fascinating, first of all. Do you know what I mean? It really is. And the example of that little toothpick and the key, and, you know, the guy could touch it, recognize it was a key, but when he looked at this other thing, he had no cells of recognition, even by looking at it, didn't know what it was. Once he told him what it was, then those brain cells have that recognition. Do you know what I mean? He learned something, built brain, unbelievable. But then he starts going on about your environment and the people that you surround yourself with. Now, I think, you know, tell me a little bit about that, Joe, and then we're going to go to a quick ad break, and we're going to run through some things about the group of people that we're connected with. But I'd like to hear your comments first, Joe.
Yeah, I think for me, my past environment is still important to me. You know, especially my parents, you know, the people I grew up, I saw them, you know, saw hard work, you know, the work ethic. But at the same time, those people left this earth. And I think for me, spiritually, I still carry them with me. But moving forward in my journey, because I wanna achieve big things in life, and I wanna, you know, accumulate things that for my future and my family. I have to make sure that the environment I decided to hang around with is a positive environment, an environment that uplift me. You know, because I come from an island, and one of the things in the island, when they saw something in you, you're lacking, or you are not have, or something that you are misfortune with, they kind of use that to pull you down. And, you know, and I learned very quickly when I come to Australia that if you want to become successful, you have to surround with successful people. If you want to become more, you know, achieve something in life, you have to look at and find people that they achieve what you already, what do you want to achieve in the future, or in very soon in your journey. So environment it's like a mirror. You know, when you surround with the people that they are positive, you know, enthusiasm, and also keen, willing, coachable, you change your DNA to that kind of environment. And it's expressed in your words, in your deed, the way you look, the way you show up. So environment is very, very important. Make an impact in my life and my journey.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Now we're going to talk more about that in just 1 second, and obviously I think Joey, you've already said why it's so important. But we'll just let me see what we will do. Yeah, we'll go here first.
Join me.
Únete a nosotros.
me.
It's time to reach your goals.
It's time to see results.
It's time to end the excuses.
Es momento de aumentar tu energía.
You can do it. Goodbye.
Hasta pronto.
Cheerio.
You're muted.
Unmute. There we go. I'm back. Novice, amateur hour. Right. So look, before we get back to Bob, I want to kind of maybe cover where people can find out more about the people that we hang out with. And of course, what you're looking at here is the MSI Lifestylers Academy page. Let me just pop that link in the description there so you can see it. So this is the MSI Lifestylers.academy page. And of course, you know, this lady here on the front that you're looking at in this little video, this is Linda Proctor. This is Bob's wife. And this is a short video where you'll actually get to see Bob again. Hold on.
To believe that I could win.
And Bob has this video here, very short. And of course, he's talking about the little black book.
That we don't.
He's talking about the little black book, and he's talking about some of the things that you're going to hear as well in the webinar, the remastered webinar that we're watching. But, you know, what if there was a way to truly create the lifestyle of your dreams, one that actually worked, that worked for you, a proven way, wouldn't you be curious to find out what it is? Well, watch this video and then download the little black book. So to download the little black book, you click this link here and you can see, you put in your name, you know, your best email, and then how did you find out about us? And then there you can put Joey and Mick, you know, and then of course, click this box, you know, and download the little black book. So here you can find out more about the people that Joey and I spend a lot of time with, you know, because of course, you become like the people that you associate with, that you hang around the most. If you hang around with bums, you're going to become a bum. You know, if you hang around with successful people, you know, the chances are some of that success is going to rub off onto you and maybe the way you think. And of course, if you watch, this is the second video at the bottom of the page. And if you watch this video, okay, oh, there's Linda, Marnie K, Nick. Listen, hopefully you'll get to meet those people shortly. But if you watch this video, this number 2 video here, is a dream lifestyle really possible? Again, it's a short video. At the end of this video, there's an actual link to go to the Facebook group, to join the Facebook group. Let me see if I can just get that up. It'll just pop up on the screen once the video comes to an end. There's an opportunity. You can join the Facebook group, find out more here. So these are some of the people that we hang out with. Linda Proctor, Marnie K, Nick Danks, Wolfgang Sonnenberg, you know, and many, many more. Lots more people, you know, that you can connect with. Now, what are your thoughts on that, Joe?
Yeah, like we just discussed, you know, the environment is very important to our success. And whatever we do, you know, environment is very powerful. And Bob mentioned that it's very important than what we've been programmed since we grow up. Because, you know, these people that we surround ourselves with, they've been in the professional for, Linda, for example, 30 years. You know, and some people, they've been more than 10 years, 15 years, and they have the experience. They went through the hard time, you know, have experienced failures and success. And because they plan to review and it reflect on the result they have, you know, the leadership skill they have, the financial result they have. So we decided to be part of this great community because we want the mentorship, we want the leadership, we want the coach, and if anyone wants to decide to be part of this community, it will help them transform their mindset, their lifestyle, and also meet new people all around the world. Even myself, I still couldn't believe that I, you know, meeting you in this community, Mike. And we're grateful we're doing things together nowadays and learn from each other and make an impact in other people's life.
Absolutely. So this is the MSI Lifestylers Academy Facebook group, and of course, if you're on this page here and you click on that link, that's the page that you're. That is the page that you're going to go to. Let me just have a look. And yeah, so this is the Facebook group. Now, one more other piece of housekeeping. So we have this link here. So there's a Zoom meeting tomorrow. I'm going to put the link in the description. Hold on one sec. Okay. So you can go to zoom.to/rise-thrive. So this is a webinar that is being hosted tomorrow. I'm sure Joey's going to be on it. I'll be on it. And there'll be dozens of other people on it. And again, it's really an opportunity to find out more about the people that we're connected with. And it's a place where you can go to get your questions answered, find out what we do, how we do it, and of course, what works really, really well. So I would encourage you, take that link down. What I should really do is maybe try and get a QR code that I can just pop up on the screen that people can just take a snap with it with their phone or something like that. But look, take that link down, zoom.to/rise-thrive. And again, go to that registration page. Okay. And all you want to do is put in your first name, your last name, your best email address, who referred you, Joey and Mick. Just type that in the who referred you comment and select register. And of course, something to do with my capture. There you go. Look, you've got to click that capture button and then register. And of course, you've successfully registered. So you want to do that. You want to get on that call tomorrow. Meet Linda, meet the other leaders in this organization, get your questions answered and find out what the next steps are for you. If any, I don't know if there will be, but if you're looking to, reshape or, rechange or change your life in some kind of way, that starts with, maybe changing some of the people that you're hanging around with. I'm not saying that you don't need to get rid of your friends. I'm not saying that, but we can all have more friends that want us to, want to encourage us and support us and move us in the direction that we want to go in. And Joey and I, we want you to go in the direction you want to go in. And if you're sitting there wondering, why do bad things always happen to me? I never get what I want. Well, maybe, it's because you need to change the way that you're thinking and maybe start thinking about some of this recognition of prosperity, cells of recognition for prosperity. You listen back to that section. It's definitely well worth it. I would encourage anybody to go back and listen to what we've just watched, because it's definitely worth it. Don't you agree?
And Mike, just one thing, if you're watching this, we are inviting you to the seminar or the webinar. It's very important if you are someone who are looking for something in life, maybe try to want to own your life, have your own lifestyle, live the way you want to live. Absolutely, we need three things in life. We need time, money, and health. I think if you want those three things, time, money, and health, I think you're more than welcome to take a look at our webinar that coming soon, because you're gonna hear and exposed to the lifestyle and also the community that we and the opportunity that we share with other peoples.
Absolutely. And I like to call that freedom, health, and lifestyle, Joey. Freedom to be able to have the time to be able to do the things you want to do with the people you want to be with, and then of course health. For me, three things: health. You've got good physical health. If you've got all this time, you want to be able to move around, right? You want to be able to play tennis, or do whatever it is you want to do. Beat Joey at tennis. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, I bet you're a two-handed backhander. Are you a two-handed backhander person? I'm not. I'm just one hand. I'm telling you. So I'm looking forward to that. So you want good health. So good health. Health for me, again, three things. Physical health. You want to be able to move around. Mental health. I'm not just talking about positive thinking. I'm talking about positive thinking and positive feeling, having those things aligned. And once they're aligned, your world will change forever, for certain. And of course, financial health. You want good financial health. So you've got freedom, you've got all this time freedom, you've got good physical health, good mental health, thinking and feeling, good financial health. What kind of lifestyle can you live? Now after you've bought all the cars and the houses and the boats and the islands or whatever it is, what kind of lifestyle can you live with purpose? What difference, Joey, you talked about it already. What difference can you make in your community, in your neighborhood, in the people for the people in your life? Look, if you've got 100 books, yeah, you might be able to buy someone some dinner, but if you've got 1,000,000 books, how many people's lives could you change? How many people's lives could you impact on? How many different things could you do that would make a difference? So living a lifestyle with purpose. So freedom, health, lifestyle, I would encourage you. That's what that FHL is in the top right-hand corner of the screen. And of course, I would encourage you to go and register. Let me put that back up there so you can see it. So go to this Zoom link, zoomto.link/rise-thrive and register to be on that call tomorrow. Look, I'm not saying it's for you, but you won't know. You don't know what you're saying no to until you're actually taking a look at it. I think you'll like it. And you might be wondering what kind of results can you expect to get? Well, I'm going to tell you, good ones. So let's get back to this, Joe, unless you've got anything to add.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Right. Let's listen to this story.
We had bought this house in July of 1975 after being expropriated for the Pickering Airport fiasco north of the city. And almost every evening I would come home and I would be extremely negative, started to take out my frustrations on Donna because the mortgage payments and everything else was more than what we expected. And after you buy a home, you have to buy curtains and things like that. From 7:30, I believe, until 10:30 at night, I would probably say during those 3 hours, my life changed totally. Because from an almost decision to having to sell this house to 3 hours later to having a target of having a Cadillac paid for in 3 weeks, that is a tremendous change.
An important point here is that Heinz Dawes had been an insurance agent for 15 years. He had great information. He had heard many motivational speakers, but he was still at the financial point where he was going to have to sell his house. Heinz's problem was confusion. He did not have an image of his mind, and that's what made the difference.
Unfortunately, a lot of those, if you want to call them motivational speakers, are geared on a very narrow, specific point.
What's up? It's Billie Jean, and right now I'm going to show you in 6 minutes.
And yes, it may give you an immediate shot of adrenaline, but very quickly wears down because you are not given the understanding of how it works. If I know how something works, as opposed to simply being told blindly as to how to do it, I have a different understanding.
So that was the difference.
Yes, the very easy, understandable way that Bob explains how the mind works, how you control the mind with your thoughts, and how the results are obtained. I got my Cadillac in 22 days after I made that promise to myself.
Now I'd like you to come with me, and just the same as we were able to help Heinz and Donna and millions of others, I want to help you. Watch closely, and we will create an image of your mind that you can work with for the rest of this program, for the rest of your life.
So, Joe, I'm thinking that we'll hold off here, right? Because this is going to be a long explanation, which is because this next part is really, like, to be honest, anybody, if you're watching or if you're watching in the replay, If you're watching this in a few weeks from now, the next episode's already there. You can go and watch it, right? You're going to find out about it. But we're going to have to wait till next week, Joe, I think, because otherwise we'll be here for another 2 or 3 hours. We'll just keep going with this. But this next part is fascinating. And of course, that is really fascinating. That story that Heinz was talking about, motivation is temporary. But of course, what he learned was to control his mind with his thoughts. What do you think to that?
Yeah, it's funny how when he start to realize it's all about the way he's thinking, and I think he went to a few seminar or some personal development, and he actually described it how narrow they try to explain how the minds work. But when he listened to Bob, and Bob tried to remind him that for things to happen in his life, he has to really study himself, especially his mind. And when he start to create that picture of the car, the house in his mind, things just went so quickly, and make it happen. And it's so powerful because when we understand that concept, it all starts from the way our mind thinking, and we have to create that. It's I had some people, they say, they talk about it's all start from the with the ending mind. Whatever we want to achieve, it has to be in our mind all the time. And I think that's the very important of how Bob encouraged us to write down our goal, carry with us every day, look at it every day, touch it, feel it, and maybe create something that we can smell the goodness of the abundance that we want to do, or taste, go to a restaurant, order a meal, that we deserve in life, because we and reflect back to the first of the video. And Bob said, God didn't make us to be rejected. He made us to be full of abundance and accepted in life. And I think that's the concept is very powerful, because when we understand that we were born to be rich or abundant and have prosperity in life, it's so powerful.
It is, Joe. It is. Now, to be honest, listen, I think I'm going to have to watch this one again, to tell you the truth, because there is so much information in this, in this 25, 26 minutes that we watched, all beginning with, you become what you think about. And so the question that I would leave anybody with is, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about your future, or are you thinking about all the bad things that maybe have happened to you in the past and everything else like that? Are these the things that you're thinking about? Because if you are, I suppose, what do you expect to get? What do you expect your personal reality to be if you're thinking negative thoughts all the time, or thinking about all the bad things that have happened to you? What do you think that the universe is going to manifest for you? What do you think is going to come, into your life? That repetition of prosperity, thinking about being prosperous, thinking about having abundance, thinking about, having great relationships, thinking about having more money.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, I got a lot of thinking to do, Joe.
We all do.
All right, listen, I'm going to let you wind it up, and then we're going to play out with our favorite Bob Proctor video. Some of the clips from this next video, of course, are from this remastered webinar. It's a great little video, and he talks about, you become what you think about, so hang around, watch this video. Don't go too soon. I guarantee it's going to be worth it. You've probably already seen it anyway, but it's one that Joye and I love to watch, because it's inspirational, it's motivational, it's encouraging, it's supporting, and that's really what Joye and I want to be for you. We want to help you get to where you want to be, but it starts with you. Joye and I can't do it for you, but we can help you, and we really do want to help. And like Bob says, he doesn't really care what business you're in or what situation you have in life. He cares about really how you respond and how you think about the outcomes that you want to get. And Joe just touched on it there. You know, you've got to think about your every action that you take. You know, you want to think about the outcome that you're trying to get. You know, so if it's about eating, eat with the outcome in mind, eat with the goal in mind. You know, if it's about, you know, prosperity or money or making more money, take action with the outcome in mind. So you're taking steps towards it. So Joe, I'm going to let you finish off, and then we're going to play out with our favorite video. Take it away.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for everyone that watching or watching the replay. You know, we just want to let you know we are very, very proud of you. You know, we're here to help. We're here, you know, from a place of we adding value from a place of service, and you know, we want everyone to be win in life. And you know, as we try to win in life, we want everyone to come along and enjoy that, because we were born to be rich, we were born to be success, we were born to have abundance, and we were born not to reject but to accept in life. And you know, the more you understand and study about yourself, the better result that you will have. It's all about in the mind. If you have it in your mind, you already have it in your hand. So best of luck with the rest of the week. And if you are willing, coachable, and you know, hungry enough to join us, you know, find out a little bit more what we do in the community that we have. Maybe we can help you, maybe with your health, maybe with your self-development, or maybe financially. We'll see you at the top.
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your step. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind wakened the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.